Hello everyone, follow along with me on my trip to Japan. So I was attending the International Society of Biomechanics meeting in Fukuoka. So my fiance and I decided to head up to Tokyo a few days earlier to do some exploring. So we ended up driving to Toronto because the day after we got back from our trip, it was my cousin's wedding. So we took the direct flight from Tokyo to Toronto. We flew business class just because it was a very long flight, and so we got to enjoy the signature lounge. As you can see there, I had enjoyed a London fog and a cocktail. But yeah, I think the only way, because this flight was so long, like it was definitely worth the extra expense to fly business class and have a little bit more leg room. Like it did not feel like a 13-hour flight. And so once we landed in Tokyo, we took the train up and we stayed at the Palace Hotel, which is just across the street from the Imperial Palace. Our first full day there, we ended up taking a cooking class, which was really a lot of fun. But the entire time we were there, it was 35 plus Celsius. It was very, very hot. So we tried to do a lot of our exploring in the morning or in the evening. So for our cooking class, we ended up making dumplings. As you can see us here, we're getting everything ready for our dumplings and learning how to correctly fold them. We definitely weren't the best at folding them, but they didn't explode, so they were functional. They just didn't really look the best, which was a lot of fun. And then we also learned how to make the soy sauce based ramen that Tokyo is kind of known for, which was really a lot of fun. We've never really done a cooking class before. We were trying to do a food tour, but because it ended up being fully booked, so we decided to do a cooking class, which ended up working out because of how hot it was. Going around out and about outside while eating, I think would have been just not very uncomfortable. So yeah, this was just a really fun experience to do, and something a little bit different. You can see here my fiance was tasked with the job of flipping the dumplings, which they were so tasty. At this point, we were so hungry. We literally devoured all 18 of these dumplings within like 3 minutes. We were starving, but the food was fantastic and definitely something we can make in the future. So you can see here they were so good, and the ramen was delicious as well. However, it was a little bit too hot to do too much exploring. So we walked back to the subway and walked through one of the markets on our way back to the hotel, but it was dangerously hot. So like I said, we tried to minimize our time. And then that evening, we were still kind of full from our late lunch, so we just went down to the hotel bar and had a drink. The next day, as bright and early, we went to tour the Imperial Gardens, which was a lot of fun. It is crazy to think that this location, it was so quiet, and you couldn't really tell you were in a city. Besides occasionally seeing the skyscrapers in the background, it was very quiet, even though it's beside a busy street. I definitely recommend exploring the Imperial Garden, but like I said, it was dangerously hot, so we tried to stick to the shade the whole time. So after touring the Imperial Gardens, we went back across the street to the hotel to cool off before we took the train into the shopping district. My fiance really loves pens, so he really had the time of his life shopping all the stationery there. And that dinner, my fiance wanted to do a kind of traditional style where they cook in front of you, and it was a 2 Michelin star restaurant, which was very bougie. I did enjoy the lobster and the wagyu, but I was not a fan of the sea urchin or the poisonous blowfish, which I didn't know about. And then we ended up taking the bullet train down to Fukuoka, which was where I was attending the conference. And it is crazy how fast it goes. When there is like scenery, it's a very beautiful like train ride down. You get to see all the mountains and Mount Fuji we went by, which was really a lot of fun. And again, even though I was attending the conference, we tried to schedule our out and about time like early in the morning or later in the evening. So we went to one of the shrines that was close to where we were staying at the hotel, and it was really a surreal experience and kind of being get to see kind of a part of this like culture and learn more about their traditions. And that evening we ended up taking a food tour, which was really good. It was more of like a street food type of a food tour, and the food I think was our favorite part. The people were really kind, and it was just like definitely go back to Japan, just not in the summertime, just because we're not used to the heat. And then in Fukuoka during the morning we went to one of the parks that has this pond here, which was really fun to kind of walk around. But again, it was super hot, like so we couldn't stay out for very long, but it was just really, it's a very beautiful country and definitely would go back just maybe in the winter or springtime. And of course, being in Japan, we wanted to try out the ramen, and Fukuoka is known for more of a bone broth based ramen, and it was delicious. It was really, really cool. It was one of the ones that you order from a vending machine, which was really fun. And the malls here are just crazy. So this was one of them that was underground, and it's 600 meters one way, 600 meters the other way. And so on our way back, we flew again from Fukuoka to Tokyo and Tokyo to Toronto, and then the next day after we landed was my cousin's wedding, so we were a bit tired, but we powered through before we made the early drive at like 4 a.m. because we were still on Japan time back to Cleveland.